Muri yeZimbabwe kusangana kwatiri kuita zvakare ipo pano pazimunyusi update apo patinoda kupa first hand update anonga ari kuitika munyika yedu yeZimbabwe. So kana uri mutsva usabve pano usina kusubscribe, kulike nekusheya. So muzuva ranhasi tine mashoko ari kutaurwa nema-ex combatants kusanganisira nema-generals vari kuudza president Emerson Mnangagwa chokwadi kutoti no, this Zimbabwe is not your personal property. Ndo zvavari kutaura because tiri kuona kuti ana muno mutapa declare wachiti tiri ana muno mutapa original chaicho wachitaura history yacho tiri kuona kuti wakatosungwa hamene vanogona kuririswa bachapasiso constitutional amendment bill number 3 iri sezvo tiri kuona kuti zvinazvambira zvakanaka. So tine vakomana vachauya panapa vachange vachitaura vachipatsanura nhaurwayi kutoti chii chiri kunyatsa kuitika muZimbabwe, chii chiri kudiwa kuti constitutional amendment bill number 3 iri ringe richiblokwa. Tichavaisa futi pano vachinyatsa kuudzaye. So tiri kuona panapa ava ndi-retired lieutenant general Winston Sigauke vakashanda muchiuto vakazoretire zvavo, but magenerals chaicho vakangodongofanana na marshal Henry muchena. So tiri kuona panapa pakanyorwa kunzi when general retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga lead the nation, and that day is coming. Zimbabwe will finally understand what it means to have a real government, not a government of tenderpreneurs, and kudata gura kutawa matenderpreneurs, not a government of a briefcase businessman, who appealed from Norway in 2017 and today control everything from fuel and fuel energy, fuel to diamond to land, not a government where a man's proximity to power determines his net worth. A real government for real Zimbabweans. Tiri kuona pana pari kutaura kunzi ndosaka muri kuona vanhu vari kuita corruption muno munyika yeZimbabwe vari kuda kuramba vakatsikirira president Emerson Mnangagwa kuti varambe vari paupresident, because vari kunyatsa kuona kuti pakauya umwe president zvinhu hazvizovambiri zvakanaka, especially VP Chiwenga nemashoko avakataura kurwisa corruption, zvinhu hazvizomiri zvakanaka muri yeZimbabwe. Ndosaka tiri kuona vari kuzama nepavanogona napo. Let's speak plainly about what must go. The parallel structures must go. Under the current dispensation, Zimbabwe has developed a shadow state informal power networks that sit above a cabinet, above parliament, and above the constitutional. Ndiana chivhayo wakutawa apa muri yeZimbabwe, zana chivhayo watopa musoro pegovernment, watopa musoro pemakoti wemachiwa, kutotora zvavanoda kutoudza magistrate akatoendera kuchikoro akatopedza makore achiendera kuchikoro, iye akatogumira form 4 bada kutomudza kuti iwe akutomudza basa rake kuti iwe unofanira kudai ena achitoteerera. A self-man who hold no elected of office but whose phone calls moves ministries that ends under General Chiwenga government. The constitutional will be supreme institution will function as designed. Tiri kuona panapa vatovhenekidza kana nepolisi masoja chechewo, masoja vanokuzosiya zvavari kuita bhudza vakangokomandwa chete chacha, but polisi ndo yakavhiringidzwa zvekutoti havachatombozivi kuti basa ravo chachero ndere chii chachero, havachatombozivi polisi muri yeZimbabwe. The 4ED's madness machinery must go. Campaign structures build not around ideology of a national vision, but around the perception of one man's grip on power structures funded by state resources operated through fear and patronage will be dismantled. Zimbabwe is not the personal property of any individual. Tiri kuona pana muri yeZimbabwe ndofunga muri kuona pari kunyorwa kunzi Zimbabwe is not a personal property, because tiri kuona kuti vanozviti varidzi, because hatinyatsoziva kuti varidzi weZimbabwe ndevapi, because ana moyo vanozviti kuti tiri varidzi na muno mutapa, but muno mutapa ndiye ane history manje kuti ana tangwena vanozviti tisi varidzi, so hatinyatsoziva kuti zvakanyatsa kumbomira sei. So tiri kuona paka pakanyorwa kuti the Uganda networks must go. Those who have fed on this nation resources like it was their personal inheritance, who have looted parastal manipulated tenders and hidden behind the political protection. Tiri kuona panapa vanhu vazhinji vari kuhwanda nemapolitical protection ivavo, because tiri kuona kuti mazuva vakabva mugabe papo anga ari mahwani, vanhu vazhinji vakabva vatanga kutiza vachienda. we will find no shelter in the Chiwenga's government. And let me say ndosaka vasi kutoda kuti apinde bosi handi muri kunyatsotozoona uri nyatsotozoona kuti zvese zvetiri kuita zvezvecorruption ichichi panenge pasina shelter yavo. So ndondawo mamiriro adzakaita mhuri yezimbabwe. Toda kuti tinzwei vakomana vari kutaura vari kupatsanura nhauwa idzi kuti dzinenge dzakamira sei. Wari pano tichakudzai futi nhauwa dzavice president Kotsotina Chiwenga kuti wakafamba sei kuenda kunyika yeuganda kuinauguration yavayoweri Museveni vanova variwo vari kuitawo sarudzo after 5 years dzine mutauro vakati nyanyei sedzemuno munyika yezimbabwe. Ngatiyeuchidzane kuti tongosubscribe nekulika pano ngatinzwei vachitaura.
I believe it's Dr. Ranga on there. Dr. Ranga, if you could just quickly introduce yourself. And my question to you as you put your submission, why is this fight important for people that are in diaspora? Obviously, most of the people maybe here on X and different located in different places. Why is it important that we get involved in this fight against CAP3? ZCMNAP, you can come through.
Oh, thank you so much, my brother Titus. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, we can.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me on the space. I'm one of the citizens. I'm a Zimbabwean. That's really my main qualification here, is obviously in the diaspora. And hello, Uncle Jed, my brother Kotat, and my sister Chennai, and everybody else who is here on the space. It's very important that as Zimbabweans we talk about this, and I think I should address your question, my brother Titus, about why is this important for us Zimbabweans in the diaspora. I think that my sister Chennai kind of answered the question already. We were never consulted. When it comes to how our economy is doing in Zimbabwe, the diaspora is in the picture. You talk of remittances, which are over, let's just say conservatively, over $2 billion a year. And our national budget is around, it's less than $4 billion a year. So when you talk of Zimbabweans in the diaspora, you're talking of Zimbabwe itself. Because not only because of the remittances, but because a good percentage of our population lives in the diaspora, whether it be in the United Kingdom, the United States, South Africa, Namibia, you name it, we are all over the map. And that is why a lot of us in the diaspora, Zimbabweans in the diaspora, are saying no. I know the hashtag here is Zimbabwe says no, Zim says no. We're saying no because we as Zimbabweans, we are at a point where we are very tired. We are very tired of subsidizing our own government. So when you see nurses on strike because they are being given $20 as an allowance a month, and they are saying that is not enough, the cost of living is going up, the buck will stop with Zimbabweans in the diaspora who have left home despite the many skills they have. We think that giving ZANU-PF another 2 years after 46 years is not going to do us any better. I don't think that is the solution. And that is why most of us are out here in the diaspora, because we realized if we stay at home, some of us were born after 1980, as we celebrated 46 years of independence as a nation. And we decided that if we stayed in Zimbabwe, we would never see a paycheck. Or even when we work, some of us, myself, I'm a physician. I was looking at my pay slip way back then when I decided to leave the country. And I realized that, well, we are the responsible authority here. So if we don't understand this fight that we are in, you can't even explain it to your wife. You can't explain it to your husband. You can't explain it to your brothers, your sisters when you're doing summer brides this summer. That's just, yeah. We can't be all just be dancing to Japraise and Winky D and not even conscientize each other of the troubles that we are getting into because of ZANU-PF and its ambitions. But yeah, I might talk too much. There's a post that I shared on how what ZANU-PF is doing has never been done by any government in the world. So many people, particularly in Africa, there's so many governments or leaders that have tried to extend their rule, do this, but they did it over time. They did it
It took Museveni almost 10 to 12 years to get to the position where he is now. Mnangagwa just wants to do it overnight by a bill that is proposed in February. In May, Kumbaya, we are going, in May, we are already celebrating it's done. It has never been done where people bring 21 things all together and say, Parliament is just going to decide. You don't even have a voice. If you come out and say what you want, we are going to actually bring all the might that we have against you. So we need to understand these things. We need to read at length. We need to share, study. We can have debates about it, but we really need to learn. We cannot fight this with blinkers or blindfolds, not knowing what's really happening to us. I think I will rest it there.
Right. Thank you so much for that, my brother there on Gab. Right. I had a conversation yesterday with Marcy. I think she said something profound in terms of communication. You know, what has happened previously is that when demonstrations or things are happening in Zimbabwe, we're always communicating with our people that are back home to say, you know, be involved. You should be participating. Do not just be spectators. And she said something that now, you know, the tables have turned. People that are back home should actually be reaching out to you people that are in diaspora to say, listen, there's a protest that is happening in London. Why don't you get involved? I'm here in Zimbabwe and I'm not able to protest. But you are there in Europe where you can be able to go to your embassy, you can be able to represent our voices that we are not able to speak or communicate. So I think it's a challenge to the people that are on the ground as well. Say if you've got your relatives say that are here, that are in diaspora in different countries, please challenge them as well to say, you know what, you guys are not able to do that. Why can you not go and take part in these protests that are happening? Because they'll be able to say whatever they wanted to say that they cannot say. You'll be representing them. So I thought that was something very profound that Mas was communicating there. But what I want to do is I want to move on to before I actually move on to Ru, Owen Chari, and JT. JT, did you have something that you wanted to say quick?
Yes, my brother. Thank you. I just want to encourage, like what just to reiterate what Ongabe said, that if you sometimes protest, it doesn't mean you have to go on the street. I get angry sometimes when we have these very profound spaces, and when we ask people to retweet, they don't. We only have 27 or the Uncle Jed or now Titus, if I'm not mistaken, if you check on the numbers. But we've got over 256 people here. We want to spread the message. We want people that follow you see this space and come, people that are not even Zimbabweans. So the power of algorithms, guys, we really need to start thinking about this if we want to spread things like this. I've been to some spaces, Kenyans, South Africans, sometimes they have about 1,000 people. The moment they get in there, I attend these spaces because once they retweet someone that I follow, even someone, it just appears on my timeline and I'm like, what's this space? I click there, I'm listening. Just because of the power of retweet. So maybe our people don't know it. It's free, guys, to retweet. Maybe we need to come to spaces now to say, if you are going to retweet, we'll give you $100 or $50. Maybe people might start to want to, because it appears everything in Zimbabwe, it needs to be paid. But it's free, guys. It's free. Retweet this space. We can't have 256 people or 300 listening to this space and have 20 retweets. What are you doing? What's so difficult to just click that retweet so that you share it, others see the space? So please, guys, please, before the end of this space, let's retweet. Otherwise, Uncle, and we don't pay you, Uncle Titus there, my brother. The only thing that we can do for you to appreciate what you are doing is retweet the space so that it gets a wider reach. Even some people tomorrow, they can follow it. So that's what I wanted to say. And also my brother Douglas there. Thank you, Dougie, for everything that you're doing. We are seeing it. And if we can't be there on the street with you holding that banner, the banner that we can hold is to retweet the space here and support everything that you are doing. and to spread the message there with my sister there, Chennai. So please, guys, before the end of the space, we would want to say 100, unless you are ZANU PF. I don't expect a ZANU PF member to retweet this space. Thank you.
Also, the
Thanks,
post
my
that
brother.
Titus put up there on the Jumbotron, it's sitting on 91 retweets. When we started, it was on 90. Only one person is out of the 200 or whatever who are here. Can we also put that out so that people know about it and people can attend? Some people will have an excuse. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, this is happening. No, let's share so that people can know and then they can plan and be there.
All right, awesome, awesome. No, thank you for that.
Thanks, Titus, and let's not forget the guest to come in and answer this question. But I also just
So,
wanted to say, if some of these people, now we know, if we are going to public gatherings, I would want to speak to you behind the scenes in terms of protecting phones, banner phones, and that not taking the with things that happen to you. I was quite upset about it, but there are measures that we could put into place too, so we can communicate in the DMs. Thank you.
absolutely.
Sure, thanks so much, my brother.
Right, thanks for that. So before I go to Doug, I've got just a question in my inbox. In terms of where we are at this current juncture, what roles do you think the churches, the different artists, civic groups, what roles can they play? Even the unions, looking at where we are at the moment. I think this is just a quick question to Doug.
Sure, it's a very powerful question because I really believe that is where real change will come. We are now at a stage where churches, civic groups, unions really need to be taking the fore. And we have seen the church taking leadership on this Cab 3 thing. The Zimbabwe Council of Churches submitted a very comprehensive submission to Parliament. If you haven't read it, go and take a look at it. It's more than 20 pages. The Catholic Bishops' Conference has been very vocal as well, but I think we need to see that translating into from speaking, which is important, translating into action, nonviolent action on the ground. We see examples of this from history and from the region. When Kabila sought to extend his term of office in the DRC, it was the Catholic Church that actually took him head on, and Catholic churches were being used, like literally the parish was being used to train people on nonviolent protests, and then the church would march, carrying their crosses, etc., through the streets in DRC. That played a huge role, and of course, other civic groups in DRC played a huge role. Groups like Lucha were having almost daily peaceful protests against the extension of the term limit, and they successfully defeated that. They defeated Kabila's attempt to extend his term. Of course, Kabila then pulled some funny shenanigans in order to get Tshisekedi there now. So DRC still has big challenges. The struggle continues, but it's a powerful example of how civic groups, unions, churches put a stop to an attempt to extend a term of office. That we see the same in Malawi in. It should be around the early 2000s, where civic groups, churches, etc., took action on the streets, on the ground, and that's what that was the game changer there. We saw the same even in Zambia when this would have been probably in the 90s. I would have to double check that, but there was an attempt to take an extra third term, and these civic groups on the ground played a powerful role. This is how you raise the political cost of this type of kind of greedy politicking by politicians, for when we actually are able to move from words to actions. So that's what I would love to see from churches and civic groups over the weeks over the week ahead and in the weeks to come. And even if it goes through, we are going to need these groups churches, civic groups, unions are going to become a really critical role in holding the government to account and demanding reform. And the reason for this is this, and people need to understand me on clearly on this. If CAB 3 goes through, the route to the electoral transition will be closed, because if you were listening to me earlier, essentially ZANU would only need to obtain about 30% of the vote at the election in order to retain power. Right, so the route to democratic transition then is going to be in civic groups, churches, unions, etc., demanding the reform, demanding the opening of democratic space, demanding the reversal of the democratic regression that we have seen. And so I think that the role of those groups is going to become all the more important in the weeks, months, and years to come.
Thank you very much for that, Doug. Right. Can I move on to Ru?
Thanks, Titus. Yeah, I have an audience here that's wanting to resist. But hi, everyone. It's really good to hear what everyone is saying in regards to the campaign. Zimbabwe says no. I definitely think that this is a time right now where we all, everyone has said this, we all need to be coming together and, championing the same message. And I think one of the key things that I've been thinking about in all of this is that the more that we can be talking about this in repetition, the better. And I mean, you see ZANU PF doing this all the time. They're always chanting the same message, the same mantra. There's definitely power in that. Repetition is really important. So we will keep on just encouraging everyone, reshare. Ongab touched on this. Go onto the hashtag Zim says no and make sure that you're engaging. We have different events that are coming up. So today's space, tomorrow there's a TikTok live. So go over onto TikTok, jump onto the panel. Let's have discussions on this, and more information will be coming on this. So I just wanted to start off with that, and thank you to everyone who's already been engaging, sharing, and let's just make sure that in the lead up to the 18th, that these are the things that we are pushing forth. Now, I really do think that whatever happens on the 18th, let's remember that what we're doing right now, we don't plan to stop, because we understand that we have been under oppression for as long as we can all remember. And because we have been under oppression, it means that we have to apply pressure. And I am more motivated now more than ever. I kind of wear it as a badge of honor now that being a new mom, I think about my son and I think, actually, is he going to grow up in an environment where it feels alien to go back home? I'm constantly speaking to him in English. And I'm like, no, actually, learn Shona. This is Shona. Like, you have to know how to speak the language. You have to know where you come from. And I feel being in the diaspora, I was served, it's almost like a disservice to me, because I know how rich our ground is. I know how rich our land is. And so my heart is not only for us, but for our children. I think that we have a responsibility here to make sure that whatever small or big actions that we take, we are doing that with consistency, because over time, that is going to be powerful. I've often spoken about this, and I hope that we really grasp it, which is this. Every power, even when you look in history, there's been empires that have risen and fallen. We are now seeing, especially when you study the life cycle of power, we are now seeing that ZANU PF is coming to the 50 mark, where either they're supposed to collapse or reinvent themselves. So what you see right now is the efforts of ZANU PF wanting to reinvent themselves. And so we have to make a decision. Will we allow that to succeed, or are we going to step in and make sure that, no, this is now time for a new Zimbabwe to come. This is now time for new leadership to rise, wherever it might come from. And it might not even be the individuals that we know, But we now need to make sure that we're fighting to liberate Zimbabwe altogether. And so, yes, we're pushing towards making sure that the reading of the bill on the 18th does not succeed. But not only that, we need to make sure that even past the 18th, we are creating an environment where every single day we are doing some sort of action, not only on X, but